I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. All two of you. We do have some special recognitions this evening, or do we want to move on to? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So the first item we have we have here tonight with us two of our Auburn High School teachers, Mrs. Lynn Barrett and Mr. Jason Bergman, who are the sophomore class advisors. And as noted in your packet, they are here to seek your approval. If you remember, we had the Freshman Academy last year that did some team building things, and we're continuing that with some team building things for our sophomore class. So with your permission, I'll have Mr. Bergman and Mrs. Barrett go to the podium and just give a brief overview of what it is they're hoping to do.
So good evening. Hi, I'm Lynn. That one's Jay.
Hi.
And as mentioned, we're here on behalf of the sophomore class, and we're seeking approval for a trip to Adventure Park in Storrs, Connecticut on October 30th. It is an outward bound type experience where there are a lot of different ground type challenges and tree type challenges, and they have 5 different levels so that students can compete at whatever level they feel very comfortable at. Jay's going to give a couple of details on the trip, and then if you'd like, I can also give some details on how it connects to the mission of the Freshman Academy, which is now the Sophomore Academy for this particular group, and also to, even though it's more of a team building trip, as a health teacher, it really connects to the health and phys ed frameworks at both national and state level too. So Jay, you want to?
Thank you. So some details for the trip. It's fully funded by the students themselves. It's $32 in cost, which pays for the bus, which pays for their admission to the park. And also what we're trying to do is we're starting a new initiative where we're trying to feed all of the students through school lunch. So the school has now offered us a $3 fee to offer us a sandwich, a cookie, an apple or an orange, as well as some potato chips. And that worked out great last year during the Freshman Academy field trips. So I think that's wonderful, and I think $32 is a reasonable fee for the students. We'll have probably 13 to 14 chaperones on the trip. The trip, we would show you a video if we could, but check it out. It's Adventure Park. It's wonderful, as Lynn stated. It's truly going to, being part of the Freshman Academy last year and being an advisor, you get to see the growth from one year with the initiative of team building, and which Lynn's going to talk more about. And this year, the students are different, and I think that's because of their activities that they participated in together. It's not just coming into a school as a 14-year-old and scared of everyone else. It's, hey, let's be a family, let's be a unit and do everything together. So with continuing that throughout this year and next year and their senior year, I think it's going to start to develop this trend that the reason why I teach here is so important, where family first within the classroom. That's really how I feel. So I think this is part of Auburn, and it represents our students and our teachers as well as our community.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. One of the national health education standards that are put forth by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention they're more about critical thinking, and it's about analyzing different types of health available things, for lack of a better way to put it, that students can access. That's not one size fits all. And as I said, there are different levels here, and I was thinking about, Jay's a young man and I'm an old woman, and he's probably going to do things a little bit differently than I would. And I think it's great for the kids to see that, at his age, he can accomplish in a big man these different things, and I can accomplish some other things, but I'm fit, and I like to be fit for life, and I like to promote what I stand for. So I think that's one of the pluses. But the part that I think is the biggest plus is what Jay just said about the kids connecting and providing a sense of community. Some of my senior girls today were listening to me talk about the trip, and they were saying in a way that I don't want to say anything derogatory, but they felt a little disjointed. And I think it's really, really important to create a sense of community. And when we look at the mission and goals of the Freshman Academy, now sophomores again, the 21st century skill part that's about social and cultural competence is about learning to work in diverse groups and accepting the differences in people. And I think these are the opportunities that you get to see that. When we went to Kennedy Lake Park last year, I love seeing kids that I don't see normally, typically together, going on rides and interacting in that way. And it might seem like, oh, it's just a ride. But I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's like, oh, that person's okay. I just never really talked to them. They're not in my classes. And I think that this type of a trip where you can challenge yourself a little bit more and work in teams will really lend itself to that too. And again, health frameworks, national frameworks.
And just for something else, this year, you all know that every class does their own fundraising. And this year, what we did, we decided to do our fundraising together with the freshman class. Because I found last year,
we believe in togetherness.
Absolutely, working together. So I think, and we're trying to develop a system for the future class advisors. So as we go through the next 4 years, there'll be something in place for all of the advisors to step in, rather than, trying to kind of find your way. Everyone will have their own personality, and that's well accepted. But having some type of framework, a guide that everyone will be able to follow in the future. And these trips can become the norm every year. So thank you very much.
Excellent, very well put.
Any
Very
questions?
good job.
Gail?
It sounds like a wonderful experience. I'm just wondering, is there some sort of a scholarship for someone that couldn't come up with the money?
I figured you were gonna, or someone was gonna ask that. I think I speak on behalf of both of us that we want everyone to go.
Yes.
I want everyone to go to everywhere, but I especially want to start off on the right track. One of the things that I've done in the past, we haven't really talked about this, you and I, but is that I've given, when I've been an advisor, students an opportunity to work for things, like we have homecoming coming up this week, and basically if you volunteer to work at something that is class supported, you can get $5 off a person, it's so...
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that was stated yesterday in our meeting, where we're going to offer a discount to anyone who comes and supports the community and supports our class. So we will always find a way to include everyone. Inclusion, number one, making sure that every student is involved. And if there was ever an issue with the student not being able to come, I'm sure Ms. Barrett and I would make sure it happened.
Right. We'll
So.
we'll make sure we connect with everybody.
Good, thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
what we're hoping to hear. Yeah.
Any other
That's the
comments?
same thing, but you win.
Questions, comments?
I think it sounds like a great trip.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm wicked excited. I can't wait to try it.
Pumped.
How long of a trip?
So we're leaving at 7:45 around and coming back at 1:45.
Oh.
Yeah. They say that it takes a good 4 hours to get through everything if you want to do everything that's there. And the people that we've worked with have been so incredible. I'm calling the guy my new best friend because he's all about trying to make it happen the best way that he can for everybody to go there.
Oh, good.
And the lunch thing I wanted to reiterate, that was so great last year.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
wonderful.
I just want to put that out there to all of you. Hope to do more of that because it was just so good that it was effortless to come in.
Absolutely.
We just loaded up coolers and everything was ready to go.
Beautiful.
Win-win.
Great.
Excellent. Well, I like hearing nice things about the Freshman Academy. I'd love to hear actually more reports on that. I think it's been a while since someone's actually come and presented anything about the Academy and how it's gone. But these are the types of things that when we signed on with the Freshman Academy that we were hoping to hear. So definitely nothing but positives, and I think you're going to have a great trip. So I would certainly support it, and I would entertain a motion.
Keep up your energy, too.
Got it. Gwen keeps me on my feet.
I bet she does.
Do I have a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we approve the sophomore class going on the field trip to Adventure Park in Stores, Connecticut in October
30.
30th.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Have fun.
All in favor?
Bye.
It is a vote. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Great
Thanks.
presentation.
We'll come back and talk about freshman,
Yeah,
sophomore
absolutely.
academy anytime.
Absolutely.
We both like to talk.
Yeah, that was one of our best field trip proposals we've had.
Oh, you're not gonna stay?
Thank you.
Thank
They're gonna rest up. They're gonna go to
you. Now moving on to special recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item, and I know I've shared it with you, we had a great celebratory program recently for this, but just as Julia Bancroft School last fall, was recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School, so too was Packagug. And as I put, when we posted it on Facebook and on Twitter and in the announcements to the students who were extremely excited, it's just such a fitting end to what were two separate intermediate schools and now are combined. So, people have asked me if that's happened in any other district. Not to my knowledge has it happened, that we would have two schools recognized in such a way, but it really speaks to the work going on across the whole district. It was great to see Mrs. Kozik, who was back. Mrs. Chase was there as well. Obviously, it starts right from the very young age and stuff, and certainly with parents too. So I tip my hat to all of them for their great work, and very, very exciting.
Any comments?
It was a great event.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it was
Kids treated the principals, the old former principals, like rock stars.
They did.
Yeah.
It really wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
When the balloons were let loose, oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it, but I got a great report
Oh,
around
good.
3:30 when the kids got off the bus.
good.
And they
Yeah.
told me about
Okay.
the balloons and they said it was wild.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't think they got a true appreciation of what it was all about,
Yeah.
but they had fun. And we certainly
Yeah.
appreciate the
Yeah,
efforts
good.
of the administrators and the
Mhm.
teachers and the entire staff.
Great.
Okay.
The next item, just earlier today, actually, Sam Moreau, who is a member of the class of 2016, currently the top student, she went down with Mr. Brutus and received the Harvard Prize Book Award. They have a breakfast down at the Harvard Club in Boston, so an exciting day for her, and certainly congratulations for all her great work. Another special recognition to make you aware of, Sarah Cannell, used to be English teacher at Auburn Middle School, the new tech media specialist at Swanson Road. She's actually going to be presenting at the upcoming MassQ conference, Computer Uses in Education conference, and it's all around the one-to-one iPad initiative. She really embraced that model over the past couple of years as a middle school teacher and is doing the same at Swanson Road, really doing some great things. So what it's called is the one-to-one diaries that she had done. So it's educational vlogging, a 21st century platform for 21st century problems. So congratulations to her, quite an accomplishment for her. And then finally, just wanted to make you aware in my ongoing work with and support of the elementary PTO that's come together, Mr. Eric Mahoney from AMF Bowling has offered for free from 1 to 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon, because the kids have a half day, to open it up for Auburn students to come in and do some bowling. So I thought that he deserves some recognition. It was really going above and beyond, I thought, for our elementary students. So hopefully many will take advantage of that too.
It sounded like fun.
Excellent. Seeing no citizens to comment, I would seek approval of the minutes of September 23rd, 2015.
Make a motion to approve the September 23rd minutes.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. And we do not have any student representatives this evening, so we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Wanted to make you aware, there's a nice picture, and hopefully some of you have seen it, if not all. The District 2 PTO, before they were merged with District 1 to the elementary, purchased a new sign for Packagug School. So you can see in the photo here, it really is a beautiful sign, and has since been painted on the posts and things, and it's really a great compliment. So I commend them. I know that Jessie was, Mrs. Harrington was instrumental in that, so I really appreciate it. It's a great compliment
They did a great job.
to the school. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Another surprise, when I was out visiting schools, I think it was a week or so ago, And in the teacher's room, I saw a cake from Shaw's that said, "We love our schools." And then came to learn afterwards that they donated $400 each to Bryn Mawr School and Packagug School, just as part of their "We Love Our Schools" promotion that they were doing. So they had the teachers a cake, I can assure you, and all of the staff, but the $400 is really a great thing. So I would ask and recommend that you accept that donation from them.
I would entertain a motion to accept that Shaw's donation of $400.
I'll make the motion to approve the donation of $400 to Bryn Mawr and Packagug Schools from Shaw's Supermarket in Auburn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote. And if we could just get a motion to accept with thanks the donation to Packagug Elementary School sign from the District 2 PTO.
Oh, yes. I'll make that motion to
To,
accept the thanks.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Harrington, would you like to give us any background on the sign, or are we?
Yeah, is it Applewood? Applewood, yeah. So they're a local business right near Bryn Mawr School, actually.
Okay.
And he runs it out of his home, and he does these elaborate signs for Disney World and companies all across the country and the world. So he does great work, him and his wife.
Mr. and Mrs. Padden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only know
P-A-D-D-E-N.
Bill and Betty.
Yes.
Yeah, the sign looks great, so
Yes.
thank you for taking care of that.
No, it's
All
a
in
pleasure.
favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on.
The next item, the Major David Brodeur, if you remember several years ago, it was named the Major David Brodeur Square in the back of the school, and there's just an absolutely beautiful area where families and students can go. And I wanted to provide for you, this is an update. They have their Klepto 5K coming up on October 18th. But the money that they raise for that, they give it to students in the form of grants in recognition and in memorial to Major David Brodeur, who by all accounts was just a tremendously giving individual and a great leader. So they are extending the program. They've been doing it now for a couple of years to the high school, but are extending the program to the middle school as well. And through the essay contests that they're having, they're going to be fully funding 2 middle school students, 8th graders, trip to Washington, D.C., which is really, really great. So I just wanted to make you aware of that and would request that you accept that, or that ask me to send a letter of thanks on behalf of the committee and the schools. I think it would just be a great letter of appreciation that they would enjoy
Amen.
getting.
Absolutely.
I'll make that motion.
No, second it.
Any discussion?
Great, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Also wanted to provide you with an update, some athletic updates for you. So the ice hockey program, as you know, for the past several years, we have invited other schools with the approval of MIAA to participate because we didn't have enough students to completely fill the roster. And the price had been $850 per student in the past. Mr. Davis has done an updated assessment, and the goal is that it doesn't cost the Auburn School Department or the taxpayers of Auburn for students who don't live in town. So we're adjusting this, and I just wanted to make you aware that it will be $1,000 for them to participate this year.
Question, do the students pay it themselves, or does the district pay for them?
That's really a decision left with the district, but as it stands currently, the students are paying it themselves.
Oh.
At one time, there was a district that did pay, but I understand that's no longer the case. What I will say from Mr. Davis describing this, that is still a relative bargain in terms of ice hockey because
Right.
the cost for the equipment for the
Ice time?
ice time and all of that is
Yeah.
really very, very expensive. Probably our most expensive athletic program.
Yeah, I
we have.
always heard that.
Yeah.
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 I would entertain that motion to support
Do we need a
the
motion?
$1,000 fee.
Oh, I'll make that motion that we have a $1,000 fee for out-of-district students that want to play ice hockey.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
The next item to make you aware of The boys varsity basketball has had a holiday tournament over the past several years, and Mr. Davis has worked hard to try and find a one for girls to have and to do some additional play over the holiday break. And he's worked with Hoosac Valley High School, and it's my recommendation that you approve this trip. Now, there's no financial obligation on our part. Parents, with your approval, Mr. Davis would then seek for parents would actually go out with them because they'd stay overnight. They would make accommodations. He may help and assist them in a specific location. But I think it's really a nice balancing act with our students, both the boys and the girls. In the future, beyond this year, he would look to create a holiday tournament in Auburn. But the time just didn't allow for it this year. So my recommendation is that you do approve this at this point.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the girls varsity basketball team's participation in the Hoosac Valley High School basketball tournament during our break this week.
Second?
A sec.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And just for clarification, it's actually in Cheshire, Mass. It's not in New York, so it is in Massachusetts.
Oh.
It's just in the far western part of our state
Oh, okay.
that they'll be going.
If they take a wrong turn, they may.
They could end up there.
Yes.
True enough. True enough. The next item, in terms of it should read for the Auburn Middle School gym use. At one of the recent meetings, you had set the rates to mirror what we have at the high school. What we're seeing now, and I anticipate that this will continue to be the case, more and more use is going to be requested for the middle school. So just wanted your approval that we would start to assign a site manager there. The idea of the site manager at the high school is just to make sure that things are kept in order, that there is no damage done, that there's oversight that's provided. You have in the past, particularly with Auburn Youth Basketball, you've waived that or put that as part of the fee. But what I would ask that you do is, just in general, that we would be assigning a site manager unless you've approved otherwise, so that and we'll charge the groups, just to maintain our facility in the great shape that it's in.
Are we talking about the new Auburn Middle School?
The new Auburn Middle School,
Okay.
yes, so it should say middle instead of high school.
Oh.
Correct.
AMS, okay.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the assignment of a site manager at $15 an hour to be paid by the non-Auburn public school groups for use of the Auburn Middle School gym.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's a vote.
And just a couple of informational pieces. The 1972 high school football team that won the Class B championship that year, they're going to be honored and recognized at one of the home games on October 30th. So they'll be coming back to participate in that, which should be
Very nice.
not to play football, to be recognized in that. And then
That's a good clarification. We may need additional insurance.
Right. And then finally, if you'll remember, Nikki Berthune was involved in a tragic accident this summer in Boston and lost a large part of one of her arms. And through Mr. Davis and the Auburn Athletic, they are going to be sponsoring a rocket run in April to raise monies for her. There's actually a notification, we'll be sending it home in an upcoming email notification once we know. There's also a fundraiser for her taking place in Worcester in later November, so we'll be notifying people about that too. But I will tell you the picture of her, and I had an opportunity to speak to her dad recently. She's just as beautiful as always, and it's really a nice photo. She's doing well, according to her dad.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Okay, moving on to unfinished business.
The next item, I left for you at your seats a copy of my proposed goals for this school year. I shared these with the leadership team at our meeting earlier today, as well as the self-assessment. On the self-assessment, what I had done is gone through and noted in blue where I rated myself, and I used that data as well as the strategic plan. We had a meeting about that just this past Monday, updating that document, which will come to you hopefully on the 21st. But my goals, as in keeping with the Ed-Eval system, focus on student learning goals, professional practice goals, and then district improvement goals. So just to give you a brief overview, I am looking to, I think that it's our responsibility to always continue to enhance opportunities and programs for students. So the first one really talks about increasing the STEM-related learning activities that we have for our students, not only during the school day, but also looking to beyond the school day and school year. And we talked about that as a leadership team today. We're going to really try to promote some additional things. We do have a Young Engineers Club at the middle school. We had a robotics club at what was Julia Bancroft and will be taking place at Swanson Road. Remember, they went to Kentucky, going to the national level, and we're looking to expand those opportunities. Additional opportunities that we're looking at is some concurrent enrollments with local colleges, so students can earn some college credit along with high school credit. And another one that's really just a preliminary in the discussion phase in terms of wanting to make sure that our students are best positioned to be successful beyond high school. In many local colleges, they're requiring that students do some online, take some online courses. And as a result of that, it really requires a different form of discipline from students, that independent work, that we're going to start to have some discussions whether we want to make that a requirement that students participate in at least one before they graduate from high school, so that they have the experience in a very supported environment before they go off on their own to college. So we're going to be looking at some of those things. Additionally, our co-teaching and inclusion model, we're really looking to expand that. It's been tremendously successful, but also training some in-district and school-level mentors so that they can help and really kind of share the wealth and have these best practices permeate all of our classrooms. And then the preschool program. This is part of our strategic plan, looking at expanding opportunities. We, as you know, I had shared, we did a pilot program this year, and we have 18 students in that in a full-day 4-year-old program. So we're looking to collect some data around that. The research is abundantly clear that earlier that students have the support that they need, the better off they're likely to do as they continue their careers. So we'll continue to look at that. In terms of professional practice, really focusing on the Ed-Eval system, we work closely with our teachers in our Auburn Education Association, the teachers union, in doing this. And then finally in supporting our new administrators. They are great individuals who have joined our team, but naturally require some additional support in acclimating to our expectations and how we do things in Auburn. And then in terms of district improvement goals, the strategic plan really laid out for us a great roadmap of where we want to go. You will see at our next meeting, and as we saw on Monday when we reviewed it with the whole team that included teachers, administrators, and community representatives, we have made tremendous accomplishments already in that strategic plan, which is really great. The transitions, you know, we did a lot of prep work last year and the year prior in terms of the transitions. We did a lot of the physical movement this summer, but the work of helping to mesh the groups will be ongoing in things, and I have every confidence things will go well, but will require some time, and I'm happy to do it. And then finally, to continue to promote and even increase opportunities that we have with the community. We're fortunate in Auburn to receive tremendous support from the Auburn community, and we have always believed that we have an obligation to give back, and we're going to be looking at additional ways that we can try and do that. So those are just an overview of my goals.
Excellent.
Very good.
And are we seeking approval tonight?
You
for
can
this?
if you want, or if you want to take time to review through, we can add to the next meeting. It's really your preference.
Would you guys like to look over the goals and we'll address it at the next meeting?
I'd prefer that.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just a
Excellent.
very dense document.
Yeah, I just have one question about the online learning. Are we talking about a typical online course that you would take at home, or is this something that we would bring up, bring a teacher into, and it would be a video, or do you think it's going to be live? It's going to be
So it's really wide open at this point. We haven't really flushed that out. I mean, we've got, you know, through VHS and Edgenuity are two programs that we could use. But we could also look to, you know, have teachers perhaps create them. We would look to do it in a very supported environment. So teachers would still be there as part of it so that kids learn how to do and maneuver through it. It would be more assisted because once they get off into college, there isn't anybody there overseeing them and helping them with the time management and things. So it's really at the very preliminary discussions. So that's the type of thing that we'll talk about this year and include some teachers in those discussions and then come back with. I don't anticipate we would be ready necessarily to start it next year, but at least we'd have a sense of the direction we want to go in.
Excellent. I think if we can get them enrolled, I think even just working on an individual basis, learning Blackboard, learning how to maneuver around that
Correct.
and navigate, I think it'd be very helpful.
Yeah.
Then, that way when they're short a class here or there, they could take it, or if they need the means to support themselves during the day, they could always work right on, continue on with the nightclub courses.
Exactly.
So, no, I think that's a great idea. Excellent. Moving on.
The iPad update, I know that the students had reported a couple of concerns last month, and just wanted to share with you, so one of them was an issue, and I've forgotten the name of it now, AirDrop, where they could AirDrop in items to multiple ones. They had intentionally, last year, removed that from them because it was not being used appropriately, unfortunately, by students. However, they did, and in fact, it coincided, it was not necessarily as a result of this, but Mr. Booty and Mr. Hanfield have been talking about it. Some teachers had raised the issue, so they have they've enabled that to be used again, and we'll monitor it and stuff with some more training. The other issue in terms of, reaching out to the iTunes store and purchasing apps that students may want to. We had been very intentional right from the very start that this was going to be an educational application, and while we understand that they may want to purchase some additional ones on there, our goal is to have the educational apps that we need, for those purposes and things. So, but I did share the concerns with Mr. Bouvier and Mr. Hanfield, as well as Ms. Donahue. So they'll continue to monitor, and as issues come up and needs arise, we'll certainly purchase those apps too.
Excellent.
The school building committee, our next meeting is not until October 20th, so Mr. Page or I can provide an update following that meeting. And then, due to some changed circumstances for Mr. Page, he's not going to be able to attend the MASC conference, so it is my recommendation that you nominate an alternate delegate.
I would accept a nomination from the floor.
I nominate
The
Gail.
panel. Nominate Gail.
I'll nominate Gail.
I second that.
Gail, do you accept the
I
nomination?
accept.
You do? Excellent. Thank you.
It's just
How
one
can
more
you have
meeting to
in
sit
the
in.
amendment to it?
Okay,
Yeah.
Just one more.
thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Gail.
That was the quickest vote I ever saw.
And you know what, if you want it back next year, you can have it. I won't fight you for it,
Okay.
okay?
The fall special town meeting will take place on October 27th on a Tuesday evening. What we typically do, it starts at 7, is we have a pre-meeting in case there are any open items, and then adjourn following the fall special town meeting. So it is my recommendation that we set that, and you can determine whether you want it at 6 or 6:30.
Either is fine with me, but I think 6 o'clock is a long
6:30
time to
usually
sit in
works
that
fine.
guidance room and
Yeah.
hang out in the hallway with.
I agree.
Everyone agree? 6:30 will be fine.
6:30?
Okay.
Yeah.
I entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion that we schedule the next school committee meeting at the Tuesday, October 27th, to begin at 6:30 at the town meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What is a vote?
Is there a meeting in between the two? Oh,
There is, we have a meeting on the 21st.
all right.
Yes.
Okay, we now move on to new business.
Included in your packet is the October 1st. These are the official enrollment counts that are used by DESE, and they have been submitted to them. As you can see, it shows that we are up 91 students this year over last year. So we have seen an increase. It does include our preschool students as well as our school choice students, but that's an increase in years where many districts are seeing decreases, quite honestly.
Excellent, excellent news.
Annually, you appoint a member to the John E. and Ethel E. Riley Outstanding Citizenship Award board that actually reviews applications and makes the recommendation. So Mrs. Grimo, actually the notice had originally come from Mrs. Gabry, I suppose, but Mrs. Grimo, our town clerk, has requested that you designate a member. Each year, I will tell you that both Mrs. Denise Collins and Doreen Guitar have offered to serve on this. Both have served in previous years, but most recently it was Mrs. Collins who did, if you're looking for any balance with that. So it is my recommendation that you appoint one of them.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion to appoint either Mrs. Collins or Mrs. Guitar to serve as the school committee's representative on the John E. Ethel E. Riley Outstanding Citizen Award
Right.
selection.
We're gonna need to choose,
Choose one.
we're gonna need to choose
Yeah.
one of
Have they
them.
been alternating?
They kind of.
Kind of?
So
Yeah,
I
Mrs.
think it is
Guitar.
time for Doreen to,
Mrs. Guitar.
Mrs.
Yeah,
Guitar, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep, that's okay.
So if you would like to,
I'm not
Right.
Go ahead, Dot.
I nominate Mrs. Guitar to serve as the school committee representative for the Outstanding Citizenship Award Selection Committee.
Second.
we have a second, any discussion?
She'll do a great job, I'm sure.
She will do a fantastic job, and I would just like to thank Ms. Collins for continuing
No,
to
absolutely.
step up, and hopefully next year she will do so again and will be chosen. Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. This vote.
And the final thing in terms of upcoming events, middle school has curriculum nights both tonight and tomorrow night. Homecoming is this weekend. They've got a basketball and football game on Friday night, and then throughout the day on Saturday there are events at the high school, culminating with a concert by country artist Glenn Stewart from 4 to 6 up at Pappas Complex. So lots of good things taking place.
Excellent. We now move on to business and financial. Where's Vicki?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I've provided in the packet a year-to-date update for our fiscal year 2016 budget. So it's basically there for you to take a look at. In accordance with that, I've also included fiscal year 16 budget transfers that I've put together in order to clarify any of the negative balances and make everything in the positive. So I'll be looking for a motion for that, to approve those if you're agreeable.
I would entertain a motion to approve the transfers.
I'll make the motion to approve the transfers as presented by Ms. Bruce-Vicki.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's a vote.
I've also included in your packet a listing of the fiscal year 2016 grants that the district has received to this point. At this point, we've received the Title II-A, which is it helps sponsor new teacher mentoring in our induction program. Also pays for stipends for the mentors to mentor the new teachers. It helps with a portion of the salary for the K-8 math coach. We also have the IDA Special Education Grant, which helps with mostly with our out-of-district special education placements, some contractual services, and special needs transportation costs, as well as some special education supplies. We also have received the Early Childhood Grant, which a portion of that is paying a portion of the salary for a preschool teacher and some instructional preschool materials. And we have the Title I grant as well, which is providing a portion of another portion of the K-8 math coach salary, as well as math paraprofessional salaries, the summer program for students entering grades 1 through 6, and park prep for grades 3 through 8. So that's basically the grant report.
Any comments, questions? Seeing none?
Okay, I've also, in your packet, provided an update on the ProPay for the MSBA. We have currently, we're up to we've requested up to number 32 on our middle school project. We're waiting for the monies to come in from 31, and I just recently put in number 32. So that we should be receiving the monies anytime for 31, I believe, maybe actually almost tomorrow. Usually they're sent to us on a Thursday, so. And I've also have on here the 10 Swanson Road accelerated repair. We're up to our 3rd request on that as well, so I should be receiving that hopefully soon as well. So we just submitted that, so. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And then I just wanted to basically talk a little bit about, I attended a meeting for the Massachusetts Association of School Business Officials on September 30th, and there was conversation regarding the circuit breaker there. We were informed by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Jay Sullivan, who comes to our meetings, that we have, they've put out the numbers for circuit breaker funding. They're funding this year at 73% rate, and this is great news for us. In years past, it's been a lot lower, so this is a good news story for us. This is the circuit breaker helps us and supplements our special education costs, and so that's a good news story. And he even said to the point that maybe by the end of the year, sometimes at the end, if they have excess money, they'll give us a little bit more. So we potentially might make it to 75, but right now we're just planning on 73%. They also talked a little bit about our executive director from MASBO, talked about the foundation budget and how they've been having the different meetings throughout the Commonwealth. They've offered several area meetings where people are allowed to go and speak to the actual issues with the foundation budget, and how the actual model of the foundation budget has been outdated, and we need to look at reorganizing that. There were several meetings from November of 2014 through March of 2015 where different areas got together and put together their thoughts. The committee has hired a consultant to put together the information, and there will be another meeting coming up soon. I'm thinking sometime in November, but I can keep you updated. Part of what they had talked about, and I think it's been across the board for all the districts. I mean, each of our districts are very different in makeup and how we do business. But two of the main concerns from every district within the Commonwealth seem to be that across the districts were that special education costs were underfunded in the foundation budget. And the second one was that health insurance costs have dramatically increased. So we need to do something with the foundation budget to address those areas. Those are the two big areas of concern for everybody in the Commonwealth. So they're looking at that, but they will be informing us, and as I get more information, I will share it with you. So, but other than that, I think I'm all set with giving you information update. Are there any questions or anything? Sure.
Cecilia, when that money comes in from the state,
Yes.
does it come in a lump sum?
The
or-
circuit breaker you're talking
Yes.
about? It's they send it to us in payments throughout the year.
Oh.
So it's not one lump sum.
Okay.
There's an amount, and they portion it out in 4 payments throughout the year. So, and sometimes at the end of the year, like the 4th payment, if there is some extra money through the Massachusetts, they will give you all the districts a little bit more.
Okay.
And sometimes we get hit with a 9C cut too. So those are
Yeah.
But right now we're looking good at the 73%. So they're very confident about that number at this point. So that'll be helpful for us.
Can you tell me what number you had last year? Do you remember?
I don't.
No, that's fine.
I can look that.
But
You know
we're
what?
definitely
I'd be
at
happy
an
to look
increase.
that up and get back to you on that, Mr.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
What I will say is there's through the chair, there's a statutory obligation to fund it 75%,
Oh, no,
and they've
Oh.
not
we haven't done it in
to
years.
that. There was one year, probably back 6 or 7 years ago or so, we were in around well below the 60% rate and stuff. So this is promising news, and I think that, in terms of special education costs, and if you remember that finance task force that I was on about a year and a half or so ago, we looked at where are the common kind of the low-hanging fruit that impact all districts. And as Mrs. Forsbicki said, special education costs, there are students who require additional supports in every community. And health insurance costs are one of those things that just continue to rise and impact budgets.
Thank you.
You mentioned, and this could go to Dr. Brunel or Cecilia, you mentioned the common concerns. Is there anything specific to Auburn, or is that it? You think the special ed stuff is?
I believe that those are two big concerns for us as well. That impacts us dramatically. There's a lot of unfunded mandates in providing the services for special education, and we only have a certain amount of money to work with, and we need to try to educate every student to the best of our ability.
Okay, so we're no different than
No.
the Milburys and the Suttons.
No, I mean, I don't think so.
The budget structure.
No, I think that, in terms of the money, because what they do is they appropriate a certain value, whether if a child is free reduced lunch or if a child has, special needs. But these are two pretty universal things. And when we found that when I worked with that group that represented people from across the Commonwealth, those were two areas that were of great concern across the board.
Thank you. Thank you
Now-
for that.
There's also some money, I believe, I at least used to go to this town, and we have to ask for it to be given back to us.
Probably Medicaid.
Medicaid.
And we do get that every year,
And that's like the Maytown meeting or something?
Correct.
That comes up?
yes.
You're right.
Oh, okay.
In fact, we ask for that each year. And this year, at our last meeting, we actually reduced the request because what we had asked for last year, we didn't meet that threshold. So it really depends on, and we had done a lot of work around the students who we have and anticipating how much money. Because once town meeting approves it, town has to fund us that money whether or not they receive
Okay,
it from Medicaid.
so that's why we changed it.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the report.
Thank you.
We now move on to personnel, job description.
Thank you. So with the licensed practical nurse, the LPN that we have working at Swanson Road, we have developed a job description. It is my recommendation that you approve it.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description for the LPN as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Question.
Ms. Harrington?
When we created this idea last year, wasn't this supposed to be like a floating position that would go school to school? Is that what we?
We had talked about that.
Yeah.
It was actually originally one of my recommendations that this person could actually go and assist and work in different schools and perhaps help with vision and hearing, different tests like that. It was my understanding it was the vote of the committee to have this individual housed at Swanson Road.
Okay, because
So-
that was, yeah, I didn't know if that would ever transpired or if this person was staying on site. so-
She does stay on site.
Yeah.
We're collecting data. In fact, our nurse leaders just presented just last week, so by month, they'll send in reports to me and we'll look at that data in terms of, does it warrant it there or should we maybe be looking at this? So I'll bring that back to you for budget time.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we do need to go into executive session, so I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session according to Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 21A2, to conduct strategies for negotiations with union and non-union personnel.
Do I have a second? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Coughlin?
Yes.
Mrs. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mr. Scobie?
Yes. Good night, everyone.